This was the year you were going to plant all your vegetables from seed. You planted them in pots. You watered them. You cared for them. And now they are all dying. Can these seeds be saved? Good morning. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead. And you have put so much time into your seedlings and they are not thriving. In fact, they are barely surviving. Is there anything you can do? Let's start with the basics. Your plants need three things. They need light, they need soil, and they need water. And if any of those things are not in the amounts or the type that they need, they will not thrive. To plant seeds, you need seed starter soil. If you are using a potting soil or a raised bed soil or garden soil, these seeds are not going to sprout and do the best they can because it has too much nutrients. Seeds have everything they need to start growing. This changes once they start getting their new true leaves. At that point, they need more nutrition and they need to be planted in a soil that gives it to them. Once your seedlings get their first set of true leaves, if they are turning yellow, they are probably lacking one of two things. The first one is nutrients. They are in seed starter, which has not given them any nutrition, so it is time to up-pot them, or you have overwatered them. These are parsley seeds, and they have looked like this for about a month. That tells me they are lacking something. One of them that I know was the light. I had it too far away from my plants. The same with my peppers. They are failing to thrive, and the reason is they should have been planted into a different type of soil. Instead, they were still in my seed starter. They weren't getting enough moisture. Then I was giving them too much. And at this point, they are barely alive. Is it even possible to get my seedlings from this to this? Absolutely. And today I'm going to show you how. Many of my gardening friends only plant the seedlings that are strong and beautiful. But I have never had that philosophy. I try to grow every seed that comes up. So if it came up and it needs more, then I will give it more. So instead of tossing all of these sad peppers and starting all over, because honestly, I don't have another 8 to 12 weeks to start over. How can I at this point get these plants to grow? This is a California Wonder pepper. I planted about 300 of them, and almost all of them have been up-potted and topped off, and they are beautiful and lush, and these were the poor guys that were left behind. There is still hope for this guy, but he has got to get out of the seed starter mix. That is the first way to get him to thrive. The first thing I'm going to do is mix up my own mixture of potting soil. These soils were all purchased at Walmart, and they are nothing special. They are just potting mix, except they are organic, and they are 3 different types. My mixture is 1/3 Pro Mix, which is heavy on peat moss, 1/3 Whitney Farms, which has a lot of bark mulch, and 1/3 Better Homes and Gardens, and that one seems to be a mixture between the two. So I place them in here. I add water because Pro Mix does not have any water in the bag. It is a brick. And I stir it all together. I label a 4-inch pot, and I'm going to fill it about 1/3 of the way with my mixture of potting soils. And then I plant him in this pot. Now, one of the problems I've had with this guy is that he has been overwatered. Sometimes when they start to turn yellow, we think, oh no, he needs more water, when in fact that was the opposite of what was happening. Now, he's looking pretty small and pretty sad, but I have found that if he still has some of these leaves that are holding on tight, he will recover. This one, on the other hand, most likely will not. He has lost all his leaves. In fact, I touched him and everything has fallen off except one leaf. I will plant him. I will try, but there isn't much hope for this guy. I have a feeling if I touch his leaf too much, that one leaf will fall off. At this point, I feel like I have failed my poor pepper. Once I up-pot them into my 4-inch pots and move them outside into the shade, I start using plant food. This is my absolute favorite. It's by Fox Farm, and it is called Grow Big. A huge mistake that a lot of gardeners make is by over-fertilizing their seedlings. Seedlings are just small plants that have not been put in their permanent spot, whether it is a raised bed or in the garden itself. This fertilizer uses 1/2 teaspoon per gallon of water, and you don't do this every day. I do it twice a week, on Wednesday and on the weekend. So we are now taking care of his needs on the potting soil. There are still 2 other needs, and that is light and moisture. So what I am going to do is put it on a tray and start to move him outside as fast as I can. Now, I am not going to put him in the sun. That will do him under. But I will put him on my back porch where it is warm and it is sheltered. The next thing I focus on is watering. Once I put these in my pots that are 4 inches and I move them outside, I only water from the bottom. Don't go ahead and start pouring water on these plants. You will drown them. What that does is it forces the roots to go deeper. So the top of your plant, this soil is going to be dry. You don't want it sopping wet because if it's wet on the surface, it's soaking in the bottom. My goal is to get the rest of these seedlings up potted today. And the same thing, I'm going to fertilize, I'm going to move them outside, I'm going to give them better potting soil. We have addressed those 3 things. And does that mean we are done? Absolutely not. This means your plants will start to thrive, but you need to protect them. I constantly check the weather to make sure the temperatures are correct outside so it doesn't get too cold at night. I also look for upcoming thunderstorms. And last night when we went to bed, it said there was a slight chance of rain with winds less than 5 miles per hour. So I left all my plants, 400 at that point, on my back porch. 2 hours later, I heard the wind kicking up strong. And there I was in my pajamas in the dark grabbing trays of plants. And I moved them all into my house. By the time I got the last trays in, those plants that were outside were bent in half. They were completely blown over. So thankfully, they all lived. They perked back up. I would have lost all 400 plants last night if I had not moved them into my house for shelter. And don't worry, this is my plant hospital. These are the ones that are barely struggling that I took care of the others first. Now it's time to focus on these. These are the plants that were outside. They are strong, they are doing well, and these are the ones that I definitely need to make sure they stay strong. Remember, when you see gardeners, beautiful pictures of what they're raising, they are showing you their success. They are not showing you their failures. These are some of the plants that I saved last night from the back porch, but as you see, these guys are doing fine. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.